Hello and welcome back to the Illuminerdi POV, which means point of view.
Yes.
Or can we that? All right. Some people say different things. I don't know. But welcome to the Illuminerdi point of view. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I am Daniel Jerome, not really a host, just a guy here. And next to me is the one and only Caitlin. Now I always get the last name wrong, and I shouldn't. Tyrrell. It's not that hard at all.
Like syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, see, not that hard at all, and I'm just horrible at everything. So, anyway, we are here to discuss Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
And that comes out actually...
when this drops, it will already be out.
Exactly.
But it's coming out November 19th exclusively in theaters.
That's right. So that means we'll be able to discuss it tonight and, today, whenever you're watching it. And with us discussing it, we will actually expose some spoilers.
Definitely having spoilers on this. So if you have not yet watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, be sure to pause this and check out the movie first, then come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers and you just want to hear our opinions, great. Keep listening or watching.
I mean, I would suggest just letting it play in a window, and while you're doing that, go ahead and check out Ghostbusters, the film, and then come back. So it counts as a view.
So you want double views?
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. I know it's morally and ethically incorrect, but I don't care. I don't care.
Good ambassador for the brand.
Hey! All right. Hey, man, I'm trying to just get myself out to where I need to be, what's going to happen after my life.
All right, we're just going to breeze past this. All right, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, it is the fourth movie in the Ghostbuster franchise, I believe, technically.
Technically.
But as people who've seen this know, and if you haven't, again, we're getting right into spoilers right now. So, but as people who have seen the movie know, it's kind of like the second in the storyline.
Exactly. Kind of like the second in canon, because it seems like this film chose to focus on the events of 1984 Manhattan's pretty much ghost takeover back in 1984, which is Ghostbusters Part 1, and omit anything that happened after. You'll know that for sure because there's a moment later where, so
we can talk about it.
Oh,
this is a spoilery podcast.
All right. Well, I mean, I didn't know where we want to run with it.
Personally, I like the way they do it. It really kind of builds out the lore. One of my things about Ghostbusters has always been it's a movie where literally nothing happens, and this really... it changes that a little bit and makes it where, no, it's part of a larger story and a larger historical thing that's happening. But I also do have a little bit of an issue with it's the same freaking bad guy, man.
Okay.
The exact same bad guy.
Okay.
And the little henchman dogs. Like, nothing about that is different.
Look, I'm going to say it to you just as simple as possible. Pretty much, you take Goonies, you take Ghostbusters, and you pour nostalgia gravy over it, and you serve it. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, I'm totally. For the most part, I'm fine with that. I am totally on board with that.
That's why you're going to get the same bad guy, essentially. I mean, what they're really trying to do and bring it home without actually saying it was we're trying to wipe your memory of the second Ghostbusters.
I mean, really what it was like even behind the scenes. It's a father passing on his legacy to his son.
Exactly.
And in the movie itself, that's clear with the grandfather passing the torch to the granddaughter.
Exactly.
So
Spangler to Spangler, Reitman to Reitman.
So it makes sense, but I really like the movie. For the most part, I really, really like the movie. My only complaints are it was a little bit too much on the Easter egg and nostalgia, which bloated it a little bit. I think it could have been cut down instead of 2 hours and 15 minutes, probably closer to like 100 minutes, give or take.
Okay.
And because it's set in this rural middle America, which works really well for the Goonies aspect, these stakes do not feel world-ending.
Oh.
Not for me, at least. When it's
so
New
if it's
York,
not a big city, it doesn't count for you.
I don't know if it's necessarily it's not a big city, but this is literally a town where no one cares. Like, there's earthquakes every day, and they're like, yeah, that happens. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You're Oklahoma. You'll get tornadoes every day.
That's probably why it's best to have it happen there, where no one expects it. No one would actually think, oh, there's something nefarious going on. They're just like, I'm going about my day. I don't really care. And because the fact that no one paid attention,
you didn't really see people
that's
freaking
where
out
things
that much,
happen.
though, either.
Because they were all used to it. It's just,
But
well, this is what happens here in the country.
Turn around with the coffee and then see the ghost, and she was like freaked. So we got that, but we didn't see the town freaking out or anything. I think that's part of why it didn't feel like world-ending stakes to me. It felt much more personal, which works for the most part. But when it's supposed to be the like ghost demon thing to end all of everything, I want to feel it a little more, for one, and for two, the world knows ghosts are real. This is established. Like, okay. I want to get back to the fact that the kids don't, because I actually totally buy that. Yeah, but the world knows ghosts are real. Yes, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay. Where's the government? They for sure should have essentially a Men in Black situation that's going, there's a weird weather pattern that's reminiscent of 1984 New York. Better head out there. Like, even if they show up in a tag or something.
So, essentially, you wanted them to show up by the end of the film because that's how long it would have taken them to get there.
I would have been fine with that. It could have been like a funny tag or something, but I wanted something to make me feel like this was cataclysmic beyond, oh no, the town and the house and the guys.
Well, the thing is, that's why it was, once again, in the middle of nowhere. Because if it's in the middle of nowhere, that means it affects the middle of no one. No one cares about it. Nothing. No one's watching to see the obscure weather patterns or anything.
I mean, it kind of goes back to that whole saying of like, tree falls in the forest. Like, it doesn't feel cataclysmic to me in that sense. That's I get what you're saying. I do. But if it's meant to be, like, this is the culmination of events that have happened for literally centuries. And...
But the thing is, once again, even the guy who, like, used the metal from that mountain to build the building in New York where we got Ghostbusters 1 from. Okay, even with that, it was always trying to keep it under the radar. So everything happened there. That's why he made sure
but if it's 1984 New York...
He worked on a temple.
Yeah, but let's be real.
Got it ready.
Like, New York gets attacked by ghosts, you're going to have government... people.
Exactly. New York gets attacked by ghosts. You're going to have government people there. Oklahoma,
no, I mean, you're going to have an established government.
Somerville, Oklahoma.
I mean, you're going to have an established government agency that's looking for stuff. That's more of my point. So that's one complaint I have.
I just don't think so. The way they were treating everything, and remember, this is post Giuliani, so a lot of people are like, I don't really believe anything that happened earlier.
The regular population, yeah, I totally buy that. The government, no, because the government in real life has like plans for aliens and shit. Like, that's my argument.
That's what they say. I mean, so we're concerned and we think that they should do that. Well, I mean,
I'm not saying it's a good government agency or that it's efficient.
I get you.
I'm just saying it would
exist.
exist.
There should be some presence.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
It could even be a joke of, like, they see a blip on Oklahoma and they're like, that's nothing. Like, literally anything.
Actually, that would have been good if they were like, beep. They're like, boss, like,
it's Oklahoma, it's fine.
Sir, I see. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
they tap the screen and then it stops blinking. And like,
Yeah, I just wanted something that made it feel larger.
Okay, I get you.
But yeah, and then it was a little bit too much on nostalgia. That's more of a personal thing, and I think that if you don't know Ghostbusters very well, it works fine. If you are a mega fan of Ghostbusters, it works fine. If you're kind of in that middle where you've seen it a couple times like me, you're like, okay, let's move along a little bit. Like, the fact that the two adults are the demon dogs that, like, mess around.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need that again. I'm fine.
Exactly. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, that's why I said, and then cover it with nostalgia gravy. Sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And like you just said, imagine a film... Go ahead and relay the plot to yourself without Ghostbusters in it. And instead of ghost busting or whatever like that, they find a jewel underneath this temple. And the jewel releases a demon. Let's just say that's the difference. And we still run with everything else.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Reitman film now. It definitely does. But the thing is, it's Reitman doing Ghostbusters. So
which for the most part I'm fine with.
Let's remind you all the time.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It was like, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's go ahead and make sure that McKenna Grace shines because she kills this movie. Great. I mean, amazingly well. She does so good in this film. Star beyond anything. She's a star. And that's why she said she's going to be taking a break after this film. Did you hear about that?
She like 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. She was also Sabrina. She was also on.
She's Sabrina. That's right. Because I just remember her as Captain Marvel.
See, yeah, there you go, Captain Marvel. Annabelle.
Wait, she
After
like the
Home or
Netflix
whatever?
series Sabrina?
Yeah.
Oh.
She was the young Sabrina for that thing.
That's right.
And they did
yeah.
a lot of stories with the young Sabrina.
Okay.
So she's busy, man. You know.
That's
so
fair.
it's fine for her to be able to take a break. I mean, most likely it's like probably approved by the doctor because it's for her back because she carried this movie. So
I was like, where are you going with this? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying
Gotcha.
she did. It was like, yeah, all right,
I mean, the
let's
whole
go.
cast was really good in my opinion, but yeah, she definitely was the standout.
At some points, I feel like there were cast members that weren't really needed.
Truth
of the matter is her
older brother.
Yeah. I just think they were just like, hey, we've got a kid from.
I think he worked when he was in scenes with her and the mom, and he was like fine with the girl he had a crush on. It was just they didn't really know what to do with him.
No, they didn't. So the truth of the matter is he didn't have to be there. Sure, I love podcasts. That was great. But the brother and his girlfriend, I didn't need them at all.
I think
really
it would have
didn't.
worked better. And Brandon, who works with us and saw the movie with us, had said this: if the older girl, whose name is Lucky, which I didn't remember that at all from the movie,
Not at all.
if she was connected to podcast and that's how her and the older brother connected instead of
I
the
remember
random
you guys
burger
said it.
joint, and I think that's a fair assessment and a fair criticism, but. What I like, and here's my other thing that I will argue that I think makes sense. I totally understand people that are like, I call BS on the whole, the kids don't know about the New York ghost thing. Before working at the Illuminerdi, I worked on a podcast called The Sicario Effect that was about Pablo Escobar's like #1 Sicario. Before working on that podcast, I didn't know anything about any of that. I was like, Pablo Escobar, that's like a thing. I knew nothing about the narco stuff. That was also the 80s. That was also a global issue.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Not aware of it at all. So to me, yeah, some weird 80s conspiracy theory ghost thing, I'll buy it.
Well, yeah, knowing about the drug trade isn't something that you really had to know about. Also, knowing about the freaking...
You need to know about a weird ghost thing that took like a day.
No, see, that's something you should know about. That's because of what it is. It's one supernatural. It's out of any level of explanation, and it's something that everyone in
realistically
in New York,
nowadays it's a
in New York
conspiracy theory.
See, that's so weird. I don't like
That makes
how
sense
when
to me.
there's so much proof of that that it actually happened.
You can say that about a ton of conspiracies and theories nowadays, though. Like,
Okay, what thing happened that we consider a conspiracy theory?
how do we know if it happened if it's a conspiracy theory? That's my point.
That's the whole thing. But the thing is, we know
Like
this
with this, it
happened
was-
because it wasn't a conspiracy
Well, we know
theory.
that because we saw
They
a
took-
movie.
Okay, yeah, but imagine that you lived in this fictional world.
If I live in this fictional world-
Here goes my aunt in Brooklyn telling me there were ghosts, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure thing, auntie. She's like, look at the VHS. Boom. Oh, look at the news reports I recorded. Boom. Here goes the news clippings. Boom. All this stuff where it's like, yeah,
Would
oh
you
my
have actually
God.
recorded all the news reports and kept the news clippings? I wouldn't. I would have been like, that was for like. You also have to be really. Let's be real.
If you're a
It's
conspiracy
New York.
theorist, and you've done it,
So
you know,
your
whole mom's
random
way.
aunt in New York is a conspiracy theorist.
No, I'm just saying that. Think about it. But yes, she is. But
Honestly, if
but,
anyone
I
should have
mean,
known
if.
about it, it was podcast. Podcast should have known about it.
Podcast should have definitely known.
That was
about
the
it.
one that was weird.
I
I love
just-
that Paul Rudd was a fanboy of the Ghostbusters. So that was hilarious.
That was cool. That was cool.
But
was cool.
I
don't
will
know.
I will buy it that the 12. Here's the other thing: the 12-year-olds. They're 12.
Okay, you know what? Yes, because there are children, and let's be honest, something that did happen that people do consider a conspiracy theory is the Clinton situation, or even OJ.
Yeah.
Even OJ.
Yeah.
Let's say that people are like, I didn't know that was real, and you're like, yeah,
man.
this man allegedly killed his wife. Allegedly,
No
this
comment.
man allegedly killed his wife, or Clinton allegedly misbehaved within the
Whole
White
show
House.
misbehaved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't know
Yeah,
about it
I
until
will buy
later in
that
history
12-year-olds
class.
are unaware of like
You're
things
right.
that actually happened because I'm pretty sure at 12 I was super unaware of the world.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's true. And when they did find out, they reacted properly. Because I would have been like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And they looked up
weren't.
videos
They
on
were like,
YouTube and
they
all
were
that.
like,
So,
no,
yeah, that made sense to
you're
me.
lying. And they looked at, yeah, that's true.
So
And
I
they were
will
like,
buy that.
Wow, that is true. I mean, think about it that way. In that fictional world, yeah, that is how, if the information was relayed, how you would react. They did that well.
Yeah.
They did that very well.
So
But
more of the stuff that I think worked, like you said, McKenna Grace was freaking phenomenal throughout the entire movie. She
Mm-hmm.
managed to bring a like awkwardness and like brilliance that like to the character while also being endearing about it. It wasn't something where you got uncomfortable. It was more of like, oh, you need a hug type thing, you know? Like, I love the running. I think probably my favorite running gag in the entire movie were her constant, essentially, dad science jokes.
Oh, my God. The dad jokes were so good. Oh, my. And you're not supposed to like them. You know, that's how the movie gives it to you. You're not supposed to. But I loved every one. Oh, my God. Obtuse, wink, and the obvious
that's
wink.
That's why I winked.
Oh, my God. I loved it so much.
She was like, it's obtuse,
wink.
The grasshopper walks into the bar. The bartender says, we named a drink after you. And he goes, you have a drink named Steve? I literally went, I think my dad has told me that joke.
Yes. You know, like, immediately I was like, okay, this is great. I'm happy. Let's continue.
I also, like, I did enjoy the family relationship. I thought it felt very realistic to me. Like, instead of having, like, because almost every movie, the older brother is either, like, just going to ignore them the entire time or they're a jerk. This one was like, don't just walk up to someone and start a conversation. Yes. That's weird. Have you been working on the jokes? And she tells one, and he's like, that's not good. And like leaves, doesn't know what to do with that. That made sense to me. That felt more authentic to me because it was like he was genuinely trying to help, but he was also like, oh man, that is rough.
I'm out of my league here, you know, but I'm trying. I'm still trying, and that's the whole thing. He was present.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great. I do love that. I love that kind of family ethic. I do have the question of where's grandma? Who's grandma? Because
that was super weird. That was never established.
We didn't get Janine as the grandmother, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Spangler started a family with some other random person.
Some rando, like he was like, "Hello, how you doing? I'm a Ghostbuster. I want to marry you." Okay.
How do we know he was married though? Is that ever established, or could it just been that he knocked someone up?
It's Egon. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Egon could have been for science, and okay, and you know, and there it is, and there it is, and you're just like, I don't know if that was a good answer. Oh, he's gone.
Like that was a little weird.
But she said like he left our family, like he abandoned the family.
Why is Paul Rudd's character a seismologist and also apparently maybe
a summer school teacher?
Yeah. That was a little odd.
Well, think about it. I mean, as a seismologist in Oklahoma, where usually things don't happen.
Well, why are you a seismologist in Oklahoma?
Well, because you can also be a geo teacher or whatever, you know.
But I mean, it wasn't really established what his job was.
Oh no.
Like it was not really clear. Like I think that all the characters had cool layers. I think the family was more well developed, as in the trio of the family. Mm-hmm. But there were definitely questions for some of these of like. Podcast got bullied a lot, right?
Podcast definitely got bullied a lot. You can tell. You can tell by just how he reacted. You know, everyone has that one kid with that first introduction.
Thing.
Yeah, that first introduction, and they make sure to let that weird thing shine. And that's exactly what happened. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put a mic in your face."
I gotta be real. Well, if I had been 12 and that had happened to me, I for sure would have broken that kid's mic.
Wow. See,
if someone stuck a mic, not like break it, but like just like kind of and whack it. Like, I'm not saying I would take it and throw it across the room.
Yeah, get it out of my face.
Get out of my face, random kid I've never met.
Okay. He's like, yeah, and he was like
and
describing.
He was creepy about it, man.
She's sitting here wearing a hat and glasses, and she's
hiding
talking
from herself.
Yeah, and then let me throw this mic in your face. No.
And then it went from like, why are you here? My grandfather died, or was he murdered? No. Ooh. Like it was very weird. I would have for sure smacked the microphone away.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, you know what? I think we've gone too far. I think I've seen too much.
He got to be very funny and kind of this weirdo, adorable little 12-year-old, but not a strong introduction.
No, not
definitely needed an older sibling to be like, maybe don't do that.
And then, like I said, once again, they worked hard to try to establish who were the archetypes. Like, it was like, all right, for podcasts, you could see Ray. Ray was, once again, his archetype. And it was like, we're going to make sure you see that. So here's his weird quirk with the microphone.
God, that's hilarious,
which is, that's how we were introduced to Ray, also, with the microphone. So now after the microphone thing
was Lucky supposed to be
things,
Winston or Bill Murray?
Lucky's the girl, right?
Yeah.
She was supposed to be Winston.
But she was cool.
Yeah, but they said the brother was more of Peter.
He was stupid.
He was Peter because he was great. Once again he's chasing the affections of someone. So
that's
boom,
fair.
they're like he's Peter. Then after that you have Winston already there. Then you have Ray, and then you have Egon.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They did establish them. Like again, I've seen Ghostbusters like 2, maybe 3 times. I think I watched it last October. So I'm not a huge Ghostbusters aficionado, which I actually think worked for me. I think that's probably why I enjoyed like. I could see that they were overusing the gags because I had seen Ghostbusters about a year ago, but had I not been super aware of Ghostbusters, I don't think I would have noticed.
No, you wouldn't have at all. Even at the end when they were like really driving it home, like, all right, we're gonna cover a podcast in marshmallows. There you go. We're gonna have Ray talk to him. Then we're gonna have blah blah and this person and that person. Even then, yeah, if you haven't watched it, you wouldn't like. I don't. Okay, I mean,
By
this
the
guy's
way,
talking
I
to this
did
kid.
enjoy the fact that the Stay Puft Marshmallows were not a giant, but it was like Baby Yoda eyes.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you can justify having it as your logo.
It was unnecessary, but I thought it was funny.
It was definitely cute, and that was like, all right, great. As long as we have something that we'll be able to market and sell.
Yeah.
Because I think that was it. That will be the
true.
big thing. We're gonna sell pillows. We're gonna sell throws. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff.
I think we have to talk about Paul Rudd though.
Well, I mean, if you are ready to talk about the sexiest man alive, then fine.
Gross.
What, dude? No, what do you mean gross? He is. Have you seen it? Like, have you seen the whole?
I'm gay. That's not something I pay attention to.
Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, it's just all over the news, and it's Paul Rudd, the man who gives the best interviews
the guy
on
who
Conan
ages
O'Brien.
backwards for some reason.
Yes, and he gives the best interviews on Conan O'Brien. Do you know about his bit?
I'm 26. I do not watch late night TV.
Okay. So, every time he goes on Conan O'Brien, he says, all right, well, I've got a clip of whatever I'm promoting.
He plays the wrong
Mac
thing,
and Me.
right? Okay.
He plays a clip from Mac and Me every time.
Is he in that?
No,
Okay.
and that's the whole bit. It's just a really weird, funny moment.
Yes, I have heard of this.
So then there was a big issue where he did a film with for Judd Apatow, and Judd was like, "Yeah, I love the joke. We're all friends, but I really need you to promote the film. The studio is not playing with us. Don't." And he was like, "Don't worry,
He didn't do it, did he?
He set it up so that it still did Mac and Me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get fined. But this was a great joke." And I was like, "I love you from now on."
No, I think I like Paul Rudd a lot. I think he's great. Like I remember seeing him. Like I remember him getting cast as Ant-Man and being kind of like, "That's weird," but he works.
Yes, right.
And he works in this too. Like he manages to do the like kind of almost ridiculous mad scientist and the major Ghostbusters fan and the teacher who has a crush on the new single mom and make it charming and make it funny.
That's true, because the way you are saying all these things, you're just like, ooh, creepy,
right?
creepier.
Like realistically, he should probably be creepy. He's not.
Yes, not at all. I was like, I love this guy, even when he was like
possessed. He also
possessed.
straight up like releases a ghost with children near him, and you're never mad about it. You're just like, uh-oh. Like, it's not...
You're like, uh-oh, lovable mess up.
Right. It's like, oh, that for sure could have killed those 12-year-olds, but you're not really that mad at him. You're just
right.
Paul.
Right. Oh, come on.
Gary Gooberson.
Oh, jeez.
Your age is Gary Gooberson.
Yeah, when they were like, hold on, wait, what? Gary Gooberson?
That was great. I love that reaction so much.
Oh, my God.
I love it. It's like, your name is Gary Gooberson. Like, couldn't deal with it, because I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I would have done that.
Full-on goober. There's nothing wrong with it because it's him. It was just like, you are so like, just no one has a problem with you. No matter who it is.
One of the reasons I really enjoyed him is he felt like a teacher in the moment when he realized McKenna Grace's character Phoebe was genuinely into science.
Yeah.
And his excitement.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. Where you're like, oh my God, I see something that's uncultivated, or people aren't really nourishing this want or this. So here I am. I'm going to make sure I do. And it was like, that is great, and that does say something about America's teachers because they are important. And I feel that they should get paid a whole lot more than what they are getting paid.
Especially
basketball players getting paid ridiculous.
Like, especially dealing with the whole Zoom teaching and parents.
Oh, come on, right? Right? And it's like, parents are just like, I don't care if my kid gets COVID. I just need him out the house. And you're like, wow, okay, okay. And they have to pretty much saddle up and still do this work. So,
But no, he managed to make the teacher dating the mom be more funny and charming than cringeworthy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the only part where I just looked at him and was like, "You're the most ridiculous person," was when that weird walk he did when he was walking into Walmart. It was like his happy walk. It was so weird, man.
Oh my God! I just loved when he noticed the hellhound. And he was like, oh.
He throws the ice cream and hits it. That was great. He's like, what? With the little marshmallows. And the whole marshmallow bit, it was too long probably, but I loved a lot of it. Probably one of the best, visual comedy moments was the marshmallow on the graham cracker with the chocolate blanket that was melting over it. It was so good. Or the blender.
Okay. So it happened, and first it was the heating of the chocolate. I was already like, oh no.
Right?
And then when you thought go to planet, I was like, so this is where it turns.
No, it turned before that with the Roomba. The Roomba ran one over.
Oh, the Roomba ran one over. That's true. That's true. But I was just right there. I was just like, we're going to really go for this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going to be like cream puff. It's going to be, no. Oh, it's just cream puff. Oh, and he still had his eyes up there. You know, like, he was like, oh, blink, blink, like a cartoon.
I was like, okay, that was hilarious. Great. But yeah, Paul Rudd noticing the demon dog straight up freezing, which fair, I would have done that too. And then when it sees him, he just screams and chucks the ice cream. I died. That was amazing. And his car still had the front windshield just gone.
Oh yeah. And no one referred to it. No one did. They just, podcast just sat there and let the wind blow in his hair.
He drove them home.
Yes, he did.
The mom went on a date with someone with no windshield and didn't bring it up.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yo, that's weird. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
That for sure should have been a comment from her.
That's true. It should be like, all right, you know what? I've let this go on long enough.
If I got in the car and there was no windshield, I'd be like, no.
Let's take my car. It would have probably what happened.
Minimum.
Let's take my car. That's probably what happened. Who knows?
So weird.
Who knows? Oh my goodness. But I gotta say, there's so much about the film that was just like, okay.
It worked. I think it largely worked.
Yes.
I'm a huge Goonies fan. I love Goonies. It's probably one of my top 10 films. So this was essentially like the Goonies through the lens of Ghostbusters. You have Phoebe discovering the truth about her grandfather, who's Spengler.
Egon Spengler.
And he also was a huge scientist and all the ghost busting stuff and finding all his old equipment and discovering this weird, not conspiracy, but essentially prophecy, and that he was preparing for it and everything. I loved all that. It was essentially a weird supernatural science treasure hunt.
Oh well,
but the treasure at the end was death if you didn't succeed.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a very interesting way to look at it, and exactly. I will say, being honest, that is a huge turning point in the film when they discover the temple, they discover the conspiracy, the prophecy, and everything else. And I want to get into it, but I want to get into it after our first break.
Yep. We are back with the Illuminerdi POV, or point of view, about Ghostbusters Afterlife. We talked a lot about some of the stuff we liked with specifics, and a lot of the stuff we had issues with, but now we're going to talk more about the vibe or the tone of the movie and what we think worked and didn't work with it. Before the break, I said a little bit, it's kind of like that supernatural science, family-oriented treasure hunt that you get with Goonies, but a little more science-y, which I dig. I'm huge on Goonies, so I was super into it.
For me, it was Goonies meets Ghostbusters, like I said before.
With a splash of E.T.
For the first hour, actually, it was that kind of thing. And then we get the payoff for having to deal with that full hour, because that's when we get the temple. That's when we get all these other things happening. It's when the mystery team gets together and says, oh my God, look at all this. Here's a little bit of archaeology, blah, 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 yada, yada, Indiana Jones kind of feel. We're getting everything here.
Also, for sure, children, if there's some weird mine, don't take the mine elevator down it.
Well, never. Once again, going alone as kids, what are you gonna do? I don't like.
Yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't have. No, I definitely would have. Maybe not great.
Yeah, I definitely would have gotten the adults. Like, hey, at least the teacher. But he was already off.
He was
possessed by
boning
that, I think,
their
right?
mom.
Yeah. Well, no.
How did she get a dress? Is that something from the original Ghostbusters? Okay.
Yeah. She peels it off and has this
I super dug the fact that he had a flower behind his ear.
Oh yeah, right.
And then when he offered it, she ate it. She ate it.
I was like, okay, yeah.
There are certain elements where I'm like, yeah, I dig it. I know that's totally nostalgia tripping, but I dig it. But
yeah,
there's other stuff like the marshmallow bit. Very funny. Too long.
Too long. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. They could have cut some parts out here, cut some parts out there, made it just quick, simple, 5 minutes or less, and it would have been great. But they had to go for it because, once again, we've got to sell those toys. So,
I think the entire Walmart scene was, look, our toys are going to be in Walmart.
Yeah, right? Pretty much. I just but that's a problem. Pacing was an issue for me.
Yeah, I definitely, I really like the family stuff. I really like that Goonies stuff. And even the Ghostbusters stuff at the end, I thought worked.
Oh my gosh,
big ending where you have all the Ghostbusters return. I dug it. I fist pumped. You were cheering. I was super into it. I loved it.
I cried.
Oh, that's right.
I really cried. Yeah, that's right. I cried. Egon. Oh.
Well, to be fair, that was probably the Egon part, right?
It was. Immediately once, because I knew it was going to happen too. Like I saw them, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to see the hand come out, and then it just.
Yeah.
I was like. And I really just like it let go, man. You know,
that was
I was
the
like,
the older brother's one moment was the fact that he could turn on the
the generators,
traps.
right? Oh yeah.
So there was
his
a
own
point.
He did have a moment, but the problem was once again, like I said,
he also
the pacing.
saved his sister from falling down the weird hole of death for some reason.
Yes,
like he did do stuff. It's just his D plot was sort of dumb.
But he's a D-list character. The truth of the matter is, he could have been replaced with anyone, and it would have been perfectly fine. Didn't even have to be his brother. Podcast could have done exactly what he did.
No, he was 12. It wouldn't have worked. No, I think realistically, they should have just cut the burger thing and had him be working on the car and popping around the house. And when she was investigating, he's like, "What are you doing?
What are you doing?" And let me find out every
her.
time. See, but that was the thing. Like I said before, with when it came to pacing, I was saying compared to Ghostbusters 1, which I think you shouldn't do, but I'm horrible at that, so I did. The whole pacing was, all right, Ghostbusters 1, 30 minutes in, they caught their first ghost. This one, we had an hour in, and then we finally got the temple and catching a ghost and blah, blah, blah.
No, they caught a ghost before the temple.
They caught Muncher, and then they went into the temple.
Yeah.
It was like, really, it was an hour in.
But they chased Muncher first and lost him.
But see, and I'm like...
I like that they didn't get him right away. I also like that they got arrested.
I wanted something to kind of move a little bit quicker, but then again, it's like, okay, so what you wanted was the blueprint that was already there from the first one. Come on, Daniel.
Yeah, I like that it was different personally. I mean, one of my things about the original Ghostbusters, it's a movie that it's weird. It's like nothing happens, but stuff happens. I mean, it's essentially
it's famous for that.
Yeah, it's
like Seinfeld of movies.
Supernatural pest control that somehow become rock stars after getting fired from university teaching positions. It's a very weird concept.
Versus this one where it's like, okay,
it's a family drama with a coming of age adventure film.
Exactly. And it was like, now that was important, but it did make us care. But it made us care about McKenna Grace, not too much about the brother. Yes, he was there. Yes, he had his moments.
I like the mom. I cared about her.
Okay, there you go.
I thought she was good.
There you go.
And I cared about Paul Rudd.
Well,
he was fun.
He was great to care about.
He was weird. He was simultaneously important expositionally and comic relief.
Okay, so what characters could the film still have been able to progress without?
The love interest, the girl.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
go. Didn't really need her. I mean, part of it too is why I think you didn't necessarily need her. Her entire character is, I'm cool.
It was, but come on, man. I mean, and then they were like, well, we got to make her really connect. Oh, her dad is the sheriff. So
which
there you
never
go.
gets mentioned again. It's
not at all.
Important.
Once, and then that was it.
Beyond they get into the sheriff's department, which realistically they could have done without her.
Yep.
I liked her. I thought she did good, but they didn't really give her much to do.
And I'm wondering, was it, and I'm going to ask the question, hopefully people don't ask it, but I'm going to ask the question, was it pandering for the whole thing of, oh, hey, the interracial relationship as kids? So it shows that, hey, racism is something that's taught and not something that's inherent.
I didn't get that from it.
See, that's the thing. When you're black, everything's about race, so you do think about it.
Yeah.
So the thing, it was like, I wondered, was that the message they were trying to get across? Which I think is a great message to say that, okay, it is not racism or hate is not inherent. It's something that's taught, something that's passed down. And you can see that all of them were kind of brought up without hate. They were just brought up to say people are people. And it's like, okay, that's great. And, that just kind of runs through.
I mean,
I'm just wondering, was that the whole character use there for pandering, or was it just, well, we just need a love interest?
I honestly think it was more we just need a love interest and we didn't know what to do with her. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I might be wrong.
No, I think actually, I also think the same. I just said, I'm just bringing up the question.
I think it was very funny when she made the joke about the virgin sacrifice. Oh, too bad for you. And Phoebe blows his cover with, well, most 15-year-olds are virgins.
Yes, and then he's like, and
then to be real,
she's
you
15?
don't look 17, bro.
Not at all, man.
Why did she buy that?
Sometimes you just want to. Sometimes you just want to.
I did think that was funny, and so to me that sort of that reasoning for why they didn't end up being more than he had a crush on her, I liked. It wasn't...
Okay, it was good. It was good. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, that I thought was funny. Or, like, it, you know, you didn't have the moment at the end where he, like, digs her out of the weird demon dog statue thing and they kiss. It was more of like, yo, that was weird. And he's like, yeah, right? It was, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I thought that was funny.
It was like, it was. Okay.
It was also, Podcast had a giant crush on Phoebe. Phoebe don't care.
Nope.
I don't even notice.
Nope. It's not happening. It wasn't happening.
I loved how quickly he was her ride or die, because I'm like, let's be real. When you're 12-year-old, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you're
man,
ride or die after a day. You're like, we're best friends forever.
Yeah, right. Whoa, we're best friends. It's great. You're like, you just met them. I know. Right? That's like forever ago. And you're like, what? But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And it is, once again, the thought process of a child.
Yeah,
and that's
you
what makes
do
it
have
great.
to kind of take the adult glasses off when you're going to,
you
do with Goonies. Like, it's, they're kids. They're kids and it's fun.
Accept or embrace the innocence. And that was exactly something that we did get. Go ahead and step into that world of what you would normally say is disbelief, and suspend it. Go ahead and dispel it. Because here you are, thinking about catching ghosts. And some people are like, they exist, some people are like, they don't, but here you are.
I think some of our complaints, not the nostalgia stuff, but the feeling of it doesn't feel as... like world-ending stakes, or you were saying like they set things up and didn't really follow through. To be fair, they didn't have a lot of lore to work with.
Well, okay, see, no, that's not true, because essentially what they did was try to build a story with the lore.
But that's my point. Like, they were world building off of a movie that is famous for not doing anything. Like, yo, that is a rough gig, but he managed to do it.
Hey, you know what? I mean, they were able to do it just as well as like the writers for Power Rangers. These people have to watch a Japanese show, adapt it so that it makes sense to us here in the U.S., dub it at moments and do all this other stuff and write a story around it. That's a lot of work when you really think about it. And then here we are with Ghostbusters. Let's go ahead.
Work for a 6-year-old audience. That's very weird.
That is right. Think about it. But then here you are.
Let's be real, they're 6. You could probably put on the original and they wouldn't care.
But here you are with now, of course, Ghostbusters taking a story that went nowhere, did nothing, and they're like, all right, we're going to take just a piece of it.
Now it's important to a larger prophecy that still had numbers down the line.
Dude, yeah, 2031 is the next time, so I'm just saying.
I'm curious, so did they catch her? Is she never going to come out again?
I think they did catch her, but also... Well, I guess we'll talk about it. There's a mid.
There's 2 post-credit scenes. I prefer the mid-credit scene.
The mid-credit scene was great.
I think it was a nice little payoff for original Ghostbusters fans.
Yes.
I think it set up stuff for the future very well. But I will say this about both of them.
Okay.
This movie specifically did not need them. They weren't very connected to the plot of what we saw.
I think it did need it for the last one, for the post-credit scene, not the mid-credit scene. Mid-credit scene, once again, was just another touch of nostalgia to make people happy.
You didn't need the post-credit scene.
At the very end, Winston explains that he
No, that's the mid-credit scene.
No, that's the post. Mid is the cards.
Oh, I thought they were flipped.
Cards were mid, post was Winston. Oh,
that's right. That was okay. Then that's the one I prefer. I prefer the one with Winston. The one that was just like, don't get me wrong, Sigourney Weaver is awesome, but
that was a big surprise.
Beyond that, I was kind of sort of whatever.
That was a big surprise. Spoilers to you guys.
Honestly, I think it would have been hilarious to tie in the 2016 movie if you had Sigourney Weaver and Kate McKinnon in that one.
But then it would have been how?
I'm not saying you necessarily tie in everything that happened in the 2016 movie, but you take the idea of Sigourney Weaver being her mentor and you have her like learning from her. So it sets her up to be able to return as a science nerd.
I get it.
That's what I would have liked, because she was great as the weirdo scientist in the 2016 one.
I get it, but the thing is, 2016 wasn't part of the prophecy line.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's why it was like, we're not going to address it.
But that also wasn't...
That's why part 2
But it wasn't attached to Gozer.
Exactly. Part 2 wasn't.
But that's my point. Neither was 2016. So 2016 technically could have worked because the prophecy would have only had to do with Gozer. Mm-hmm. So any other stuff happening outside of that wouldn't have mattered to the prophecy.
Very true. Very true. But canonically, what's
I get why you didn't include it, but yeah. I'm just super bummed we still didn't see Sigourney Weaver and Kate McKinnon more, because I was super pissed when that was set up at the end. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you have a post-credit with that and we don't see it?
Yeah, true. I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan, so Ghostbusters has always been big and important to me. So when they did the 2016 one, I was like, oh my God, almost everyone here is from Saturday Night Live again. I was in for it.
Yeah.
I was happy. I loved it. But
getting back to Afterlife.
Yeah, exactly. I was like getting back to Afterlife and
yeah, the Winston one, I agree that it set up something coming. Mm-hmm. But it was way, like, if you don't know the original Ghostbusters, you don't understand what he's talking about for most of it.
Well, I mean, what he did talk about was things that we actually did see when he said, "Okay, I've been paying for Ray's bookstore."
The importance of it. You didn't understand the importance of this was a guy who just needed a job, and that's why he joined the Ghostbusters initially, and now he's the most successful one.
Yes.
And he's helping them out.
Yes.
Like, you didn't understand that emotional
payoff.
That emotional
payoff. That's very true. But still, in the end, we had the moment. Now, actually, let's focus on that. The fact that we didn't get the emotional payoff, it's kind of the question of, was it needed?
We got it because we'd seen it. If you hadn't seen the original Ghostbusters, you didn't. Mm-hmm. So to me, if I'm sitting there and I've never seen the original Ghostbusters and you have this guy who's like super successful and stuff, I'm sort of like, okay,
like
great. Even the firehouse, you don't necessarily totally understand.
You don't get it.
You don't really get the light at the end other than something's happening. So that to me is where I say you didn't really need either of these for this movie. Mm-hmm. If you needed those for anything, it was like the original Ghostbusters.
True, but I mean, what it is doing, of course, is setting up the sequel. Think about it. 2031 is when we'll have another problem, most likely. The containment unit will rupture. But they're not going to actually
wait 10 years for the next movie.
Very true. But
do you
what
think
we
they're
could
going
do
to actually
is
set it 10 years later? Because I don't think you could use the same cast.
That's the thing. I think what will happen is the brother will graduate high school.
Yeah.
And he's going to go to New York and skip college and go to New York to try to become a Ghostbuster right out of high school. The girlfriend will follow. Or not the girlfriend, I'm sorry, the sister will follow just to say goodbye to him. And while they're there,
and podcast.
We have, and podcast. And while we're there, that's when a rupture of the containment unit happens. And the Gozer problem, the prophecy, was wrong by so many years. Exactly. It's sped up.
It was... like, because there were cracks in the wall, so maybe they didn't see the right note. Yeah, that's fair.
And then I dig that. They finally go ahead and take care of the Gozer thing completely.
Do you think this will get a sequel?
Also establishing them as Ghostbusters. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I am banking on that. I'm hoping that the star power...
I want to see McKenna Grace in way more stuff. She was amazing.
Yes.
Like, she's been in tons of stuff, but this was the moment of, like, no, she can carry a movie.
Oh, definitely. Well, see, I already knew that before when, like I said, I interviewed her for Annabelle Homecoming.
That's one of those crazy horror movies, right?
Yeah, man. It was really great. She was so nice.
She wasn't in Captain Marvel that much, but what she was in was really solid.
Exactly. And then she was also, once again, like I said before, she was young Sabrina for the... whatever Tales of the Netflix show. That's really good too. So it's just like,
the Netflix show, the name of you don't remember but loved apparently.
Well, it's Sabrina. I just don't remember the long title. Okay. So
you sound reliable.
Okay, the Chilling Tales of Sabrina. There you go. I did it. It could be wrong, but no one will know because I just said it.
No one will know. They can Google it.
Well, they'll know, but you won't. Fine, don't call me. Stop it! Oh God, she's looking. Okay, well, anyway, I think it is. I think it is a chilling Tales of Sabrina. Please, okay. Well, we're gonna find out right now. But once again, I know that
the Chilling Adventures. You are incorrect, sir.
Adventures instead of tales. Ah, damn you, words. Okay.
You thought I would look that up. You tried to call me. And I was like, be real. How long has he been on the freaking Marvel Watch Along show with me? When do I not take the opportunity to go, you're wrong?
You're wrong. That's true. I was just like, all right, it's a different situation. She's like, nope.
The computer is open. What is he thinking? Ridiculous. Nope. Incorrect.
That's why we work so well together. So
it's like last week. It's like our last episode where Joe called you on the spoiler thing. Like, you keep doing this to yourself, dude.
All right, don't worry. I'm gonna be able to somehow lie to everyone later. So
he says with a computer in front of me, so I can check his lies. Yeah.
But she once again can carry. a project, and we've known it before, but this is where we definitely see it. It shines. And
there's a difference between
her,
like kind of knowing it and proof positive.
Very true. Very true.
Positive.
I agree. And then along with that, I mean, we have Paul Rudd. We have the original Ghostbusters who show up. We also have
Carrie Coon, who played the mom, who's fantastic and definitely underutilized.
Yes. I mean, my goodness, there are so many people in this film. So it's just like all that star power is just here, and it's working with nostalgia as well as the new or second generation. So it just keeps pumping, and like it's something that I think will get people in the theaters. It will get people to watch it. It will be like, oh well, you know, hey, Thanksgiving just came and there's nothing else to do. Blah, blah,
I think
you know?
like it's that fun. It is a fun movie for like a family movie, because it's that multi-generational of, it's the Goonies trope that kids are going to enjoy, and it's got the nostalgia aspect of both Ghostbusters and the Goonies feel, and it's something that realistically, like, you know, literally everyone in your family can watch. Like, you can bring your teenage kids to it and it's still fun.
Very true. It was a fun movie. Was it a great movie? No, but it was fun. Was it a
great movie? No. Was it a good movie? I'd say it was decent.
There you go.
I would say it was pretty decent. Yeah. Like, it's one of those movies where I'm like, it's not where I'm like, oh, I'll probably see it again because I feel like I need to. I would definitely watch this again, like without a problem. I thought it was really, really fun. I have my issues with it, but it was really fun.
Honestly, later as time goes on, it's going to be one of those where I include and watch that movie. Like Ghostbusters is one that I have to watch at least twice a year. It's weird for me. I want to watch it around Christmas, but I definitely love to watch it around Halloween as well.
That makes sense.
It's just a movie. So now I'm going to watch that one.
I'm going to veer off Ghostbusters for 1 second because I'm going to say something super controversial that's going to get me yelled at. For Nightmare Before Christmas, when do you watch it?
Oh, I'm both Halloween and Christmas once again.
I'm neither. I'm Thanksgiving.
Oh, that is smooth. I never thought about that. Yep. Like, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and watch it then because, yeah, I mean, you know, usually after Halloween, here comes Christmas, and it's like, that's all we get. Mariah Carey raises from her, like, cave.
I know.
Yeah,
Did you see that ad where she just smashed in the pumpkins? That was funny. But yeah, to me, it's perfect because technically Thanksgiving does take place during the movie.
That's right. It does. It does.
November 1st, or begins on November 1st, ends at like what, Christmas Day or something.
Yeah.
So it does technically take place, and I love that it's in the middle because to me that is sort of the epitome of Thanksgiving in the United States. Is it Christmas? Is it Halloween? They're clashing.
They're clashing, and this is what you're dealing with. So it's like, here you go. This is what you get as your byproduct of the clash of the holidays.
Yeah.
So here.
So to me, that's why it's like
smart.
that. Yeah. But the reason I asked that
Change your lives.
I agree with you. I do think this is going to end up being one of those kind of classic Halloween movies because this is definitely one I would put in my October rotation without question.
Definitely. In fact, they should have included Thanksgiving in it. It would have been, oh, hey, a Thanksgiving movie. And you're like, damn, you know,
that
there aren't really any...
That could have been hilarious if at the end they, like, sat down and it was supposed to be Thanksgiving. And it was like, well...
They're like, wow, yeah, the house is falling apart. And they're like... So we're take out, and then they just leave, and that'll be it.
The dirt farmer had a family. That was my so God! Funny.
So many times, it was, the dirt farmer. I was
also,
like,
why do they call him
scientist?
Well, not even that. It's like it's a dude with a farm who doesn't grow anything, and your first thought is dirt farmer. I'd be like, the crappy farmer has a family. I wouldn't assume they were a dirt farmer. I'd assume they suck at being a farmer.
Well, I thought the dirt farmer was. Pardon me. Oh.
What's he doing?
Excuse me. Dirt Farmer was more of an insult.
This is not even like a midnight watch along. What's up with you?
Man, you know what? Today has been a very, very long day. All right? I had to listen and know that you had 4 articles to do. And that just automatically made me tired.
I'm sorry.
Your work made me tired.
You tired?
Yeah, you have no idea. Okay. You have no idea. I am at this level or this precipice of laziness. So hearing someone else do work is like, oh, it's draining. It hits me hard. So once again,
I'm judging you so hard right now.
I'm the purveyor of petty. It's what I do. So, once again...
You're expecting not to be retaliated against now. After what I just did earlier?
You've got something coming.
He does not understand.
You got something coming, I'm telling you. I'll find that
From you?
I will find that Chucky doll.
It's behind you, bro.
Exactly. That's why I said it, and it looked like... And
I can see it.
Yes. That's right.
Bring it.
Now. Oh, just wait.
Bring it.
Oh, just wait. I'm going to dress Jezza up, and he's gonna run around.
You're expecting me not to immediately slap Jezzer.
Kick. Usually that would be the thing. You're aiming for the face, boom, and then I'm sorry. You're gonna aim for the face and then kick him.
You're mean to people when they're not here.
What are you talking about? I love Jezzer. Jezzer knows it, but he knows the joke that would happen too, where it's like, okay, first thing you're gonna do is kick Chucky in the face.
About this. Hopefully he retaliates against
Jezzer
you.
won't listen to this. So
that's why I said I'm gonna tell him.
Jezzer, I don't know. He doesn't like Ghostbusters. He loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I sort of get why people don't necessarily love it, because I don't necessarily love the original film. I actually prefer this to the original film. I'm not a huge Bill Murray person.
Oh, are you? Wow, Bill Murray has like changed the world in so many ways.
He's not the kind of comedy I enjoy as much.
Okay, all right. So,
I'm not super into, especially in Ghostbusters, I'm not into the sleazy. I do this for charming.
Yeah. Sleazy car dealer,
Sleazy Casanova.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're possessed? What's your phone number? What? Horrifying.
What? I love it because it is true.
Whereas you have Paul Rudd that's possessed and like gives her a flower. Way better.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, problematic 80s.
Yeah.
So that was a problem. But yeah,
Goonies had some problematic stuff in there too.
Once again, the 80s, it's just, we didn't know any
80s
better.
had great movies,
different
but
time,
also
different
problematic.
Time. Well, I mean, just different time, man. Different time. Things happen one way and then later, but that's just Ghostbusters itself as well. Once again, I mean, when you have a film about nothing, what do? You do nothing. So you just let it go. They ripped. And it did well for that time. Right? Yeah. Once again, the Saturday Night Live stuff.
Realistically, had Ghostbusters not made just a stupid amount of money when it came out, we would not be here right now.
Yeah, there's so
many. This would not be a franchise.
Oh my God.
There's no way they're like, this will be a franchise. They're just like, let's make this movie, I guess.
They're like, all right, sure, I guess, whatever you want. Is Warren included in this?
Which is crazy if you think about it, because it's one of the first like comedies to have a huge amount of special effects in it.
Oh yeah.
So even though we're saying they probably assumed this would not be a franchise, they put a lot of money into a movie that is famous for doing nothing.
It is the first horror comedy, possibly.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
You have Abbott and Costello monster movies.
Oh yeah, that's true. Never mind. No, boy. In current cinema, I guess, or you could say whatever, but still, you can't. Really
I prefer the Abbott and Costello monster movies.
Oh really? More than? Huh. Okay. I mean, I love.
Those also have nothing happen though.
Tom Hanks in the Burbs. That's a really good horror comedy movie. But yeah,
we're not good at staying on track when we're alone.
We aren't. It's horrible. But
I keep noticing that.
But you are right when you say that. Okay, it's not the first, but it's one that's.
It's
pivotal.
one of the most famous.
It's pivotal and it's important, especially according to current cinema.
Yeah.
Because the formula in which it did follow, which, funny enough, there was a formula, even though the film was about nothing.
Yeah.
And that formula being put together in this way actually made it where it was like, oh, okay, we get what we can do next time. We get what we can do for another film.
It also definitely popularized the kind of like team of idiots saving the the
everyday man, but
the
still
team of smart idiots saving the day.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I was going to say the everyday kind of man,
but everyday university.
Yeah, I was going to say the everyday man that knows more. Like, hey, without them we wouldn't have had Breaking Bad later.
Yeah.
Think about it, that character archetype where it's like, okay.
But more evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree that Ghostbusters is important to cinema. A lot of 80s stuff is though. Like Indiana Jones is super important. Well, I argue Goonies is important.
Firsts.
Yeah, like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, but I mean, honestly, with just going over the film, seeing that we've covered everything. That it did have the 80s vibe, but a different 80s vibe. Oh, nice.
It did do the 80s. Like, you had the uber nostalgia for Ghostbusters, but you also found the right kind of tonal movie to go with from the 80s to have that nostalgia. Because I love the Goonies aspect of it, and I didn't think about it too much, but yeah, man, it's fully an 80s movie set in the 21st century.
Damn. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So much stuff. It's just like literally, oh, okay, this all worked out. This did follow this piece of the formula once again. Here we go. It's a family drama. We have the exact same tropes that we had within the 80s again.
Yeah.
And they played out well.
Yeah. And you have the coming of age adventure story. You have the treasure hunt. Like, it kind of matched a lot of 80s tropes together in a way that worked really well.
That's very true.
I take it back. This was better than I anticipated.
Yeah, see, I like that. And with that, I'm definitely going to want to know exactly what your rating is. But we're going to find out what your rating is, of course, after.
I have a question about 2 ratings, which you will hear after the break. And we are back with the Illuminerdi POV, a.k.a. Point of View, for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ooh, well done.
Right?
I like
that.
it.
See, I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought worked, what we thought didn't work. Overall, I personally enjoyed the movie. I'm going to probably watch it again. I don't know if it'll be in theaters. I'll for sure see it again when it's like streaming or whatever.
Okay.
My reticence about theaters is still the COVID stuff more than anything else.
Yes.
And also, realistically, I never have time to go to the movies.
No, there is no such thing as time to go to the movies.
Unless
what are you
it's
talking
for
about?
Work.
Oh, God. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Life is too busy right now.
And I have like an A-list stubs thing too, so like I
that's
be able
right.
to go to the movies.
That's right. That's
Nonsense.
true. I forgot about that. Next time, remind me. I have to go to the movies with you. So
if we go on Tuesdays, your ticket is $5.
Okay.
We're going to the movies on Tuesdays
there
now.
you go. Sorry, guys. Ha ha ha. We'll be masked up and ready to watch a movie.
All right, so let's rank this Ghostbusters Afterlife, and we are going to give it, you know what, I'm going to say 3 rankings. We're going to give it movie ranking as a movie. We're going to give it a ranking as a Ghostbusters franchise movie, and we're going to give it a ranking as an 80s nostalgia movie.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right, cool.
We're going for it.
All right, cool.
All right, let's go with just, what do you think's easier? Let's say movie first. What do you rank it as a movie?
As a movie, honestly, because of what I gave recently, we spoke about this, what I gave Eternals. Eternals I gave a 3.
Same.
This film, you asked the question, would I watch it before watching Eternals as far as a rewatch? And yes, I would watch this before I watch Eternals for a rewatch. So that means it has to be, like you said, a little bit higher than Eternals. So going from a 3, I'm giving this a 3.5 as far as a movie is concerned.
You know what? I'll do that too. I'm saying for me 3.5 to 3.75. I think it is right there. It's not quite at a 4. I think you gotta be a little higher for a 4 for me. I will tell you a movie that I think is actually higher than a 4 on a different one of these.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, 3.5 to 3.75. Not quite at the 4 mark for me. Man, I hope I see a 5 movie at some point.
I really would hope so. I think we deserve it, at this point.
But
let's go ahead and see something.
Yeah, I definitely would say, like, because a 3 is a C, right?
Yes.
So I would give this a B minus.
Oh, okay.
I would give this a B minus.
I give this a C plus.
Like B minus for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gave it a C plus.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4 for me. I'm gonna say for this one, 3.5 to 4. I liked it. I thought it was. There's definitely issues with it, but I think as a movie overall, it's really really fun.
See, I like that. And you did write a review.
I did
on the Illuminerdi.com.
Definitely check out the review. I talk about this stuff a little bit, but I'm less spoilery, obviously. So I can't get into some of the stuff that I had an issue with because it's super spoilery. So it's a largely positive review, which I'll stand behind because I think it's a pretty solid movie. It's got its issues, but I think it's overall fun.
See, so this podcast is actually just a companion for the article. Helps you once you've actually seen the film, come back, listen to this, you'll be like, oh, okay, now I really get why you felt the way you did. Yeah. Which is cool. Now, there's a next ranking.
Ghostbusters franchise movie, what would you rank it as?
Pardon me. Oh, my God.
What would you rank the original as, and what would you rank this as? Because the original kind of has to be the bar,
Pardon me.
Right?
Yes, it is. The original is, and this is for me, because I love Ghostbusters. Once again, I was obsessed with Saturday Night Live at that time. Comedy itself was kind of changing, and things were just getting better and better. National Lampoons, etc., etc. So for me, I'm sorry, the original is a 5. It's a movie about nothing, but it made me laugh the entire time, and I paid attention to it. I can remember and recall it, and that's a great thing to see. That's a great way to see it, and a great way to understand it.
Well, you also, if it's based on the franchise, you kind of have to use the original as the benchmark.
Exactly.
It's weird if you don't.
Yeah.
So using the original as the benchmark, I would probably give this a 4.5.
Ooh. Okay.
I think this is real. I would watch this, I think, before the original. I'm not going to put it as the benchmark of the original just because I think the, fan service is a little bit too much in this, where you don't have that in that because you can't.
Yeah, you can't. It's based off of nothing, so you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, so I definitely would give this. I think this is the best sequel.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Out of all of them. I like the 2016, but I think this is better because it's a new... It's tied to the old story, but it is a fully new story.
That's right.
And it's
That's
a
true.
new style, which I enjoy.
Oh yeah, that was a great thing. I mean, Reitman versus Reitman through the generations, seeing how they've chosen to kind of take a story and change it. It's a great way for the son to say thank you, Dad, and also move on and make it his own.
Yeah.
You know?
And as an 80s nostalgia movie, what would you rank this as? Knowing realistically that a lot of movies nowadays are to a degree 80s nostalgia movies.
That's a good point. 80s nostalgia movie, as far as it's concerned with that, I'm definitely giving this a strong, solid 4. Because the way it was brought up was still not... I know at moments it was kind of like, okay, it's over. It feels like it could be over the top and it may lose audience, but I haven't heard a complaint about it. And because of that, I'm kind of like, well, okay.
I'm going to say 4 as
I'll
well
go
for 80s nostalgia, because 80s nostalgia, like, there have been other movies that kind of try to do the Goonies trope.
God.
This did it, I think, personally, like, probably was one of the more successful.
Oh, definitely.
Like, this felt like it had all the fun you want of a Goonies movie, of a treasure hunt movie. You had the supernatural stuff. You had the direct ties into the original Ghostbusters in a way that was super, super cool. Like, I really love and dig the mystery aspect of it. And I like that the comedy was more character-based or situational than just kind of joke a minute. I prefer that. There's a lot of stuff about this I prefer over the original.
Sometimes joke a minute can be a problem. For example, and I know we're not even talking about this movie, but I'm going to bring it up. Red Notice, Ryan.
I have not seen that yet because I'm fine if you spoil it, but man, I have not heard positive
I'm not
things.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just saying that Ryan Reynolds, they do exactly what you expect to do with him,
It's too much.
Let's give him a bunch of one-liners. Let's give him so much dialogue, and every bit of it is a joke. After a while, it's kind of like, can we not do this?
He's like R-rated Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how, like, this used Paul Rudd well. Like, the joke,
Yes.
like, it wasn't a joke a minute. It was charming. And even stuff like I will forever say, like, I was like, what? And started laughing just at how ridiculous. Like, him walking into Walmart, the way he walks, it's like this, like, I think he's supposed to be strutting because he's like,
it's a lovable dope.
But he looks so dopey.
Yeah, it's a lovable dope.
So
and it's like, oh my God, okay, I get it.
They use it well, whereas Ryan Reynolds, I think, is used well sometimes, and other times, like Red Notice probably, which I, again, haven't seen, but based on things I'm hearing, probably doesn't use that as well.
Yes, I just think in this case for the film, Paul Rudd was exactly what he was supposed to be, charming Paul Rudd versus
it really was. It was Paul Rudd playing Paul Rudd.
Yeah, versus overusing him or something like that. And every character had their moment to shine. Yes, some characters don't feel they were needed because of the arc that they gave them or any level of development.
Or lack of arc.
There you go.
It wasn't necessarily the arc they were given. It was the lack of arc or the uninteresting aspect of the arc. Like, the whole...
lack of agency for a lot of them.
The brother liking the older girl, that's definitely, like, kind of that tropiness that you expect in this. But also, I didn't need it as much. Like, it was funny, but it was too much of, like, almost a side quest in this.
Yes.
That if it had just been more incorporated into the actual story of, like, him trying to impress her with his, like, oh, I know what this is, and Phoebe being like, don't touch that. That would have been funnier to me.
Yeah. See, and that's it, where it was like, okay, yeah, there are these problems, these pitfalls within the film, but that's how it is for almost every film. You won't be able to make everyone happy with everything.
I don't know any movie that I would, even Princess Bride, which is my favorite movie, I don't think I would give that a 5.
No. When it comes to just that, I mean, it kind of depends on what the film has done, what it's set ahead of it, and what came after. And
I take
right
that
now
back.
at the
I
moment,
give Princess Bride a 5.
There you go.
That's
why I was like, so right now at the moment to try to say this film gets a 5, you can't. But later, as time goes on and it does become appreciated, it may become a 5.
I think this is a really strong film, though. I think, even with our complaints, I largely would say positive, which is why I say 3.5 to 4 to me for this. I think that there are definitely better movies, but I think this is 100% worth seeing. And I also think it's worth seeing because I'm definitely someone who goes to the movies alone, just because I don't want to deal with planning around other people's schedules.
Or the question, who is that? Wait, wasn't
No,
he,
it's not even that.
was
It's
that,
me going, hey, I want to go to the movies tonight, and everyone else being like, I'm busy. And I'm like, okay. And then what, not seeing the movie? No, I'm going to go see the movie.
Bye, I'm going to go see it.
So I'm forever going to be someone that says go to the movies alone because going to the movies is fun. But this is when I think that seeing with friends or seeing with family elevates it because it's something where it has that multi-generational nostalgia aspect that makes it fun.
It does. And once again, like I said, I think you should go see it. It's worth a good cry because I could not
fist pump.
hold it back.
I did not cry.
Hell, oh my gosh. Come on, man. Like seeing
I fist pump. I teared.
I loved it. I mean, I haven't seen him since Orange County and it was like this exactly. So I haven't seen him since Orange County and then for them to go ahead and do this and to bring him back. It was great that the director had a message at the beginning and said, but we kind of know why that happened also. But still, it was great that he did.
Did you feel like that was more of a prep for you're going to get a ton of nostalgia stuff? Mm-hmm. That felt like that a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. And I liked it. I appreciate it. It was once again something saying like, hey, this is something that's been in the family for years and I care about it, so please care about it as well. Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, I love that. And then after that, what happened in the film, just like, oh, this really is about family. This is really about family. And that's where I was like, forget about it. I was just bawling tears.
No,
I'm not going to say what happened,
I definitely
even though you already know.
Yeah, everyone's watched this has seen it already.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they don't care about spoilers, in which case, bravo.
Yeah, Egon comes back, guys. He's dead, but he comes back. He dies at the beginning of the film. You're welcome.
Yeah, by like... It's never really revealed what killed him besides some sort of ghost thing,
yeah,
right?
the ghost, the dog thing pretty much finally shows up. Remember close to the end when it breaks open the door. When it bursts open the door, it's like almost in a fire form, but it's the dog. And then it comes through the smoke.
Escaped the trap later? Yep. Oh, so it got trapped after?
So it comes through smoke.
Gotcha.
And then as it comes through smoke, it grabs him. Remember, it makes a chair.
No, I know he got, like, ghost killed, but I couldn't tell if they ever specified what it was. Yeah. But no, I definitely think this is worth seeing. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd say 3.5, between 3.5 and a 4 for me, so maybe like 3.75. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I say see it. Ghostbusters is fun. Like, also realistically, it's Ghostbusters. You shouldn't go in expecting an Emmy or Academy
Oscar.
Award.
Yeah. You're not getting an Oscar film, guys. But what you are getting is something that you'll enjoy. Once again, something that you can see with the family, something that you'll be able to watch, talk about, laugh about, and then move on. So it's something I definitely suggest you should see. Caitlin suggests you should see it. So from our point of view, it's looking good.
All right, so you can catch us on the Marvel Watch Along coming up for Hawkeye. We're going to have the 2-episode series premiere. We are going to be up so late. Oh man. Be sure to check that out. You will see me, Daniel, and our friend Richard, who is not here.
Yes.
Check out more shows on the Illuminerdi's YouTube page. We've got Power Rangers stuff.
No, we've got wrestling stuff.
We got the Star Trek After Show, and you also have the Star Trek Watch Along on Twitch. And since I didn't say it, the Marvel Watch Along is moving to Twitch.
That's right.
So be sure to check it out there. Anything else?
I think with that, we're done. We plugged every plug. Boom, boom, boom. You're good.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time on the Illuminerdi POV Point of View. Bye, guys.